Welcome to the very first episode of the Charlotte Coffeehouse Collective podcast, where bold brews meet bold moves. I created this space to spotlight the stories, struggles, and successes of coffee entrepreneurs and enthusiasts who are building something meaningful today. I'm honored to bring you a powerful conversation with Dwayne Chafin, the co-founder of Memphis Grindhouse Coffee, a Black-owned roasting company out of Memphis, Tennessee, who's not just roasting beans, but reshaping the culture around coffee and ownership. We discuss the power of purpose, community, the art of roasting, and how Grindhouse evolved from a dream into a full-fledged business with a loyal following. If you've ever thought about starting something from scratch, especially in the coffee world, this episode is for you. So grab your favorite mug, settle in, and let's get into it. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. My name is Sabra Robinson. I'm with Charlotte Coffeehouse Collective here in Charlotte, North Carolina. My guest today is Dwayne Chafin. He is one of the co-founders of Memphis Grindhouse Coffee out of Memphis, Tennessee. I am so thankful for you to accept this invitation. Let's go ahead and get started with Dwayne. I know some people are very interested and want to know more about coffee. I have a lot of coffee enthusiasts. I have business owners. You know, there's a lot of coffee meetups at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's like the thing now worldwide, having music and coffee in the morning and just enjoying yourself with no alcohol. That's great. But the purpose of my meetup group is to know more about coffee. Know more about the business owners. What can you share with other potential business owners? So let's go ahead and understand the why behind the brand. So what inspired you to start Memphis Grindhouse Coffee?
So how it came about was my business partner and I, Rick Askew, we both attended college together, and we both went to college for business. And you know, we would always talk with each other, and we would always ask, you know, what's next? What's after college, right? I mean, because by trade, I am an IT professional by trade. Rick is a general contractor by trade. So we both have different skill sets. And, you know, we said, hey, what do we do next? And, you know, we understand that living in America, if you want prosperity in America, you must own or manage a business. That's the only way to really build wealth in America. You can do it as a W-2 employee. I'm not knocking anybody who is a W-2 employee, but the real true way to build wealth in America is through a business. We understand that. So, you know, we said, hey, what do we do? Right? So we strategized and threw some ideas against the wall. And we ultimately came up with coffee. We both drink coffee. We love coffee. And we understand that coffee is consumed in an up market and in a down market. So rich, poor, black, white, Jew, Gentile, people drink coffee. Globally, coffee transcends all socioeconomic barriers. Coffee is the most consumed beverage on planet Earth behind water. Americans drink over 400 million cups of coffee per day, and we're not number one. Europe is number one at over 800 million cups per day consumed.
Wow.
So
that's amazing. That's amazing. It is a big deal. It really is. I've been drinking coffee since I was 18 years old. Just by looking at my mom, and she was so classy and dainty, and I'm like, I want to do that. So what's the story behind the name?
Sure. So we started Memphis Grindhouse in 2019. So I'll give you the short story. So how it came about was Memphis, for those that don't understand, Memphis is a city of right at 1 million people in the greater Memphis area, right? So we have roughly 700,000 live within the city limits. And then once you add all the suburbs, it's around close to 1 million people. And Memphis is a very modern day segregated city. It's majority black. It's almost 70% black, 28% white, and about 1% Asian, and maybe 1%, 1.5% Hispanic. And so in the area that we were going to open a coffee shop, there had never been a coffee shop in that area. It's called Whitehaven. It's a city, part of the city. And we were going to be the first coffee shop to open in that area. So we wrote a business plan, and the initial goal was to borrow $100,000 to open this coffee shop. And of course, for anybody that has ever written a business plan, you go through a lot of information as far as understanding your area, the demographics, who lives in that area, the income, what kind of car they drive, how many times they go up and down the street, how many cars go up and down the street, credit scores, what job titles. You understand everything about the demographic that you're researching. So we both are native Memphians. We love Memphis. It's our city, born and raised here. And so we came up with the name Memphis Grindhouse. Memphis has the name, the city of Memphis is known. We are the logistics hub of America. For those that do not know, FedEx World Headquarters is here. UPS has large operations. Every consumer good or product in America, the large players, they all have warehousing or some type of logistic transport through Memphis. So Memphis is kind of known as a grinding type of city. We're a very blue collar city. And that's how the name was born, Memphis Grindhouse Coffee. And so we wrote the business plan. We shopped our business plan around to over 10 different banks. All of the banks told us no. Banks don't like food businesses. They were very transparent with that. They told us that food businesses have a very high failure rate. I think it's like 90% of all food businesses fail, right? I think it's 95% fail within like the first 5 years, and like another 80% of them fail within like maybe 3 years or something like that. The numbers don't kill me on the numbers, but I think it's something around there. And so, one banker asked me if I had a rich white uncle. I told him no, it's just two of us. Yeah, seriously. In 2019, a banker asked me that, and I have never said the name of these banks, but these are very well-known banks. If I said the name, you would know who these banks are. You've heard of them before. Very large bank. And one banker asked me if I had a rich white uncle, and I told him. The other banker asked me if I had a white business partner, and I told him no. It was just two of us. Right? Just two black men trying to start a business.
Wow.
And this is the reality in 2019. So again, like I say, the banking system, America is America, right? So we have to learn how to navigate the banking system. And he was just straight up candid with me. He just said, "Man, look, if you had to come in here asking me for money to start a grocery store, I would have been interested in hearing your pitch. But
Wow.
you trying to start a coffee house? We just not interested in that." And so instead of becoming defeated, what we did was my business partner and I, we just emptied out our savings account. So we put our money together and we sourced the product. We sourced the beans and we started the bid. We launched, put everything together. We got the design done on the bags and we took off online. We started selling online. Now we launched December 2019. Now, unbeknownst to us, COVID was right around the corner, right? Oh, the whole world shut down in March 2020.
Yeah.
But we had no idea that was coming. So actually, it was actually a blessing to our business, to be honest, because everybody was at home shopping online. And so that's how people found out about our brand. And so that helped us. Initial goal when we was trying to come up with 100 grand. And the reason why we made the mistake, I also learned a valuable lesson in that. Number one, we didn't ask for enough money. We should have asked for 250,000, but we only asked for 100,000, right? That was the first mistake. So one banker told me, he was like, "Man, you guys gonna be undercapitalized." But the reason why we asked for that amount of money was because we have skills. A lot of Rick and I were going to do the sweat equity part. He's a general contractor, so he was going to save us a lot of money on the build out of doing stuff, what we could do in-house ourselves without having to pay all this money, building out a coffee shop. And our brand has always been about literacy because we stumbled on a very interesting fact. In doing our research for the business plan, we found out that 75% of all children in America in the third grade do not read and write at grade level. And for Black children, it's around 80%. And for Black children, also in the eighth grade, it's 84% they're not proficient in math at the eighth grade. So third grade is that pivotal year to where children go from reading to just be reading to reading for comprehension. And so by Rick and I both being inner city kids, we both grew up in low income neighborhoods, but we understand the struggle. So we were blessed to have parents that taught us how to read. Rick has children. He understands the value of literacy. So we said, look, for every bag of coffee that we sell, we'll donate a portion of the proceeds back to literacy. We want to encourage the children to read. We understand reading is fundamental. And so that has always been our mission since day one. So, we buy school supplies. We give away school supplies every year. We sponsor teacher classrooms. We give away books when we have outings and stuff like that. We give away books. If any parent ever emails us and say, "Hey, can you send my child a free book?" We'll send you a free book, no charge. You don't even have to be a customer for Memphis Grindhouse. We'll send your child a book. And we've always been about literacy. That's always been our mission. So our initial goal was to open a coffee shop. And in the coffee shop, we were going to have an area where kids can sit down, they have free Wi-Fi, and they can actually read. We know several teachers in the Memphis area, and we
Wow.
were going to invite the teachers in, come in, maybe on the weekend or something, volunteer, whoever would like to volunteer some time to teach the kids how to read. We want to be a place of gathering in the community for positivity to help the children. That was always the goal. But
Wow.
we like I said, because we couldn't get funded, we did not open the coffee shop.
So you were going to use the 250, well, the 150K to help open the coffee shop. Did you have a shop in mind?
Yeah, it was a space. The space had never been a coffee shop, but it was some blank space that was there in the Whitehaven area that we were going to go in and kind of fab out and make it our own. That's what we were going to do. But like I said, honestly, to be honest, I just hate to say it, but it was really a blessing that we did not get the money for the coffee shop idea because, like I said, when COVID happened in 2020, a lot of businesses shut down and went out of business and they never recovered. I know several people in the city that was in the coffee business and they just never recovered. And some of them, unfortunately, have went under completely.
Or were
No,
they just
coffee
coffee
shops.
shops?
Yeah, they were
Wow.
coffee shop. And see,
Mm.
so initially when we started out, we did not start roasting our own product. We were actually going to a vendor. We had a third party that was roasting our coffee for us. But what we quickly realized was that
Mhm.
in order to survive, you need to know how to roast coffee. And then having the ability to roast coffee opens up other streams of income.
So that brings me into my next question as far as the craft and the culture of your coffee. Can you walk us through your coffee roasting approach? How do you
Absolutely.
roast it? How do you come up with the name? Can you walk us through that?
Absolutely. So if you just go out to our website, I know you've been out to our website, but anybody that goes to memphisgrindhouse.com, if you look at our packaging, we spent a lot of time on the packaging. And so, we have three
Beautiful.
different roasts that we sell,
Yeah.
actually four, but three that are core, which is Field Street Blend, which is our light roast, Rock and Roll Blend is our medium, and our dark roast is Mighty Mississippi. So because Memphis is such an iconic city for different things, I mean, we're known for barbecue, blues, Bill Street, and Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Memphis is known for rock and
Yeah.
roll, Elvis Presley, blues, BB King, and we're known for barbecue. So Bill Street is I think it's the second most uh, visited street, one or two. I forgot the actual number, but millions of people come to Memphis every year to go to Bill Street. It's our entertainment district. So
Okay.
it's just a street of bars, nightclubs, juke joints, live music. You can literally go on Bill Street and hear live music every night of the week. And that's one of the things that makes us unique here. A lot of other cities don't have that. So Bill Street blend is a light roast. And we have a picture of Bill Street on our bag. So it's made to look iconic. And so we're representing the city. So not only are you getting a wonderfully light roasted bag of coffee, but you also have the beautiful picture of Bill Street there.
Mm.
It serves as a something you can actually drink and hold, right? It's a nice product, but it also has a touristy attraction or appeal to it. And that's how we designed it. And so we have customers that buy our product. Some of them do not drink coffee, but they buy it and they give it away as gifts to other people because it has
Mhm.
Memphis on it. They like it.
I love the colors of it. I love the logo. It's very appealing, eye-catching. I'm proud of you guys. I am.
You asked me about our initial approach to roasting coffee.
Yeah.
So what we did initially when we started, we went to our roaster initially and we said, this is what we want to give. We want to give our customers a premium coffee experience. We want people to know that coffee tastes better than Folgers and Maxwell House. I mean,
That's old school. Yeah.
My grandmother used to drink Folgers, had it at home. How I got to drinking coffee, I was a little boy. My grandmother used to do crossword puzzles in the newspaper. And so
That is
she would sit me on her lap. She would drink a cup of coffee, and I would get a couple sips. That's how I got my start. We took that. We took that recipe and we went through several different flavor profiles and we tasted each one. We sampled each one and then we designed and curated our own taste for our coffees. So every taste of the coffee was created. Each flavor was created by us. It's our profile. It's how we make it.
And you guys actually roast your own coffee.
100%. We have a space, a commercial space that we lease. We actually went and bought the roaster. I mean, like I said, it's a whole story that came together on how we got into actually, roasting the coffee. We bought the roaster. We found a guy that actually owned a restaurant in Texas. He went out of business and he closed his restaurant down. He had a coffee roaster that he had sitting in storage for 2 years and he didn't want it anymore. And I found him on Facebook.
I'm going to ask, how did you find him?
On Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace, he had it sitting in, and when I saw it, I knew what it was. And I just messaged him and say, hey, I'm interested. And he said, man, look, we had a conversation. He said, my wife told me to get rid of it sitting in the garage. It had sitting in the storage for 2 years. He said, man, look, come get it. I said, look, if I send you $100, will you hold it for me? I'm coming from Memphis. He said, man, I can't hold it forever, but if you serious, he said, I'll send you 100. Don't sell it. Send him $100. Called my buddy. I said, man, look, we got to go get this roaster. And we went and got the Penske truck. And I took a 7.5-hour drive from Memphis to Texas in a Penske truck and went down and got the roaster, paid the man cash for the roaster, put it in the back of the truck and brought it back to Memphis. Sure did. Sure did. It's an interesting process because the coffee roaster itself is it's about 5.5 feet tall. It's about 2 feet wide, maybe.
Oh.
It's hard to describe it. If you think of it in a drum, you put the coffee in a drum, it turns in a drum over a certain amount of heat for so many minutes. Coffee is actually, it's not like making popcorn. It's a science to it. You can't just put it in there and turn it on like the microwave. It don't work like that. You have to actually know how to actually make the coffee, right? You'd have to know how many minutes to apply the heat at what temperature for, duration of time. And that's how you get certain tastes, certain profiles. So yes, that's how that comes together. And the coffee roaster uses gas. So you need a gas connection to it. You can either use gas or propane, right? Because where we located, you connect the natural, it's cheaper to connect the natural gas connection. Natural gas is cheaper than propane, right? So if you use propane burns cleaner, but it burns hotter, faster, and it's more expensive. So we just use natural gas to cook our beans. We follow code, right? We had to have somebody come out. When we first got the space, we had to come out and run a gas line. It cost $2,000 to run that gas line. Expensive. We didn't know, right? So we had to have literally we had to have a plumber because our plumbers here in Memphis and Shelby County, a HVAC person is certified for heating, ventilation, air, and gas. The plumber came over in the line. That cost me $2,000. And then you have an exhaust pipe. It's an 8-inch exhaust pipe that comes out of the side of the roaster. It comes out and then it goes up through the ceiling. And where our warehouse is, those are 35-foot ceilings. So that was $2,500 having that smokestack ran all the way up. Because you have to use a certain special pipe because that pipe has to be able to withstand like 600-degree temperatures when the exhaust is coming out of that roaster. So
wow,
yeah, it's an interesting setup.
So you had unexpected expenses, yeah.
And I mean, it took a while to find somebody to do that because you need somebody that's certified to come out to run the exhaust, run the gas, and then just so happened when we got the roaster, it was in the summertime. Everybody's getting their air conditioning fixed. It was crazy. It was crazy. It took us about 2 months to get up and going once we got everything. The landlord has to sign off on it. You have to have a COI, which is a certificate of insurance. Your landlord will require that. If you burn their building down, they want to make sure they get paid first.
That makes sense. That makes sense. What are the growing pains that you have learned?
So many. So many. So we learn Number one, like I said, when we started, we had a vendor, a third party that was making our coffee for us, a manufacturer that was roasting our coffee. We learned in order to sustain long term, we were going to have to roast our own coffee. That was the only way to do it. And so we initially started selling online, direct to consumer via our website. Beautiful, love it. But then we learned that coffee is a seasonal drink. So sales of coffee always spike for us, it always spikes in October. So from October to March, we busy. Maybe as soon as spring break happened, going towards the end of March over to April, the online sales just fall off of a cliff because it's getting warmer.
Wow.
It's getting warmer outside. So a lot of people that was drinking coffee for in the cold months, now they're either switching to a different kind of drink or they may switch to cold coffee. Maybe. Most people who drink coffee, they are a completely different consumer than people that drink tea. And then there are some people who drink cold coffee, they don't drink hot coffee. And then there are
Mm.
some people that drink stouts, what we call these ready to drink, these like cold brew coffees. Some
Hmm.
people drink those, but they don't drink hot or cold coffee. They just like the stout, the ready to drink cold brew. So, it's learning these different buying patterns of the consumer, right? And then, like I said, we started selling online, but then we had to figure out other ways of distribution. So we started doing collaborations with other local mom and pop shop, independent shops here. But then we started wanting more distribution, right? And so then we started moving towards the grocery stores, and which we have been very fortunate. Memphis is a very unique city because we have a couple of local chains here in the city for grocery stores that don't have all of the maybe the red tape that you would get from one of the
Hmm.
bigger chains. We have a local chain here called Super Low Foods. We have another local chain called Cash Saver. And so between those two stores, that's 12 locations that we have. And then we have a total of 20. So we're in a total
Wow.
of 20 locations locally here in the city. And that includes a couple of restaurants. We sell in a bookstore here called Novel Memphis. Great little place. They have a little restaurant where they sell wine and they do book clubs. Novel Memphis is a very cool bookstore. It's a if you like books, Novel Memphis is a great store because they're independently owned. So
Oh, so
it's
it
cool.
sounds like the local stores is the way to go and not the large chain stores. Because here in Charlotte we have like Harris Teeter, we have Publix, we have Food Lion, and we have a lot of local coffee shops. But that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
In the grocery game, Kroger is the juggernaut, right? So Kroger is the largest retail grocery chain in America, and they own Harris Teeter. So
For sure.
Kroger they have a lot of brands under their umbrella. If you go look at their umbrella, they have a lot of different brands under there. Kroger here, we had the opportunity to do business with Kroger. Just to be blatantly honest with you, the problem with Kroger is that here in the Memphis area, they have like I want to say they have somewhere around 100 stores in they call the Delta area. But just in the
Hmm.
local Memphis area, they got like 20 locations here. And at
Wow.
that time, when we were approached, we just didn't have we don't have the size or the bandwidth to be able to keep up with Kroger. Because let me tell you, it sounds really sexy selling the grocery stores, but that is a completely different animal than selling online or direct to consumer because grocery stores will not spare your feelings. They don't care about your product being the best in the world. They don't care about how great it is or this and that. They will look you in your face and say, "Look, we don't care about that. I got two questions. Can you sell me? Can you deliver this product to me on time? And is it available? That's all I need to know. How much it costs, and can you deliver it to me? If you can't get it to me at the price that I need, and if you can't keep my shelves full, we will delist your product and you will never sell with us again." It's
Wow.
really how, yeah. Some of them talk like that, seriously. So, because a grocery store is all about business, and it took us years to get there. We just started selling in grocery stores last year. So, technically, we started our business 19. This year marks 6 years. It took us 5 years to get to grocery store.
Wow.
So
That.
because everything was, it was the progression of the timeline of how things went. We didn't start roasting coffee until about year three. Yeah, yeah, a little after year three. It took a while because we had to find a location, find a building, find a roaster. Roasters are very expensive. Even used ones. I don't know if you've priced them, any of them, but I mean, a used decent roaster can set you back 15,000 easy, easy.
A used one? Oh my God.
A used one. Well, depend on which size you get, but I mean, but yeah, a used decent sized roaster will set you back easy 15,000 easy. You know, brand new, they 45,000. So, it's just
$5,000? Oh,
yeah, and that's on the smaller end. That ain't even we ain't even talking the big huge the 45,000 roaster that I'm telling you is that's a 12 kilogram roaster. So in that's another thing about coffee, you have to learn if you're gonna be in the coffee business, you're gonna have to learn kilos, grams, ounces.
mhm,
Because the rest of the world deals in that metric system. Here in America, we talk pounds.
mhm.
Only in America they talk pounds.
Pounds, yeah.
Everywhere else it's kilograms. So yeah, 12 kilogram roaster is like 29, 26 pounds, 27 pounds roaster. That drum. So to be able to roast 27 pounds of coffee at one time, plus you have to factor in when you're roasting coffee, coffee absorbs water. You're gonna have about a 15% loss, 15 to 18% loss. So if you put 10 pounds in it, you're gonna net about 8.5, give or
Mm.
take. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you have to be able to account for that
How'd you learn all of this? You just
by trial and error.
trial and error?
Trial,
Wow.
trial and error. Now, let me stick a pin in there. In order for me to learn how to roast coffee, I didn't want to just because I mean coffee beans are expensive, right? And
Yeah.
so what I did was there's this place. The guy that was roasting our coffee for us, he actually mentored me. He gave us the recipe because I went and asked him. I said, "Hey, look, we want to kind of do our own thing." He was really, really gracious about it. So I have, hats off to him. He was good to this day. If I call him and ask him to do a favor for me, he will do it. We still have a good relationship with him. He's a good guy. But we had to physically learn how to do it ourselves. So there's this place in Minneapolis called Mill City Roasters, Mill, City Roasters out of
I've heard of
Minneapolis.
them.
So
I've heard of them.
they have a coffee school, and that's where I went. So I paid to go to this school. I got on a plane, flew to Minneapolis, and went to coffee school. And they taught me how to roast coffee. Yes, yes, and it was worth every dime. I'm telling you.
How many was in the class? I'm curious.
About maybe 15, about
Wow.
15 of us that was there.
Okay.
So not only do they teach how to roast coffee, the guy who owns the place, his name is Steve. Great guy. Steve is a mechanical engineer by trade. So he makes his own roasters. So like the Mill City roasters, the
Mm-hmm.
roaster machines, he and designed all of them. So he knows them inside and out. He's very sharp guy. They have a very good school. The girl who teaches school there, her name is Lauren. Lauren knows everything about coffee backwards and forward. Backwards and forward. Yeah.
This is really good info. I do want to go ahead and talk about community and the impact. So, how important is community to Memphis Grindhouse Coffee?
100% is very important because, like I said, because we are into literacy, we're dealing with, children. We have people that reach out to us about events, about doing events like this past, when was that? That was maybe about a month ago. The school system here had a program outside with I forgot the name of it, but it's a community program that they reach out. So Cigna Healthcare partners with them. They reach out and partner with local vendors in the area. They have people that make produce, that grow, vegetables and beans and honey and stuff like that. And they come out and they sell these goods very, very cheap and they give most of it away. And so they called us, hey, Memphis Grindhouse, come and be a part of the program. So they bought several bags of coffee from us. They paid for it and they just say, hey, look, make this many bags of coffee, give it away to people. You can bring some and sell. And so that's what we did. So we partnered with them. This is
Nice.
our, I think, third year doing that. They enjoy that. Like I say, so being part of the community, It's very
Okay.
important. People like to
Yeah.
know that, what you're doing, you're invested in and into their area. So we enjoy it. We enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, are you working with any artists or creatives with your brand out of Memphis? Or have you?
No,
Or is there a
no.
potential to work with? Or do you desire to?
I mean, honestly, we would be open to the conversation. We haven't had anybody approach us, I don't think. No creatives, I don't believe.
Mm.
But I mean, we would be open to working with anyone if they, we can sit down and have a conversation. If it makes sense, we definitely would love to.
So, as far as community, what kind of legacy are you building? Not just a coffee brand, but as a movement. What would you say to that?
We want people to realize that yes, we are a real company. Are we a for-profit company? Absolutely. But the mission is much larger than the profit piece, right? It's not that we make millions of dollars from the coffee. It's not that. It's all about building community, fostering literacy. We want children to learn, to read, to grow, and we want them to know that life is bigger than just entertainment or being an athlete. You can be a
Yeah.
businessman or a businesswoman and you can make money. You can sell a product or create a product or a service and you can make money. So like when we go, sometimes we get invited to speak at Career Day, some of the different programs, always reiterate that to the children. Hey, look at me. I'm just a local person from Memphis, Tennessee. I grew up in a low income area. My business partner grew up in a low income area. We're just two people that had a drive and a desire to do something. And we're no more special than you are. You can do the exact same thing that we're doing if you put your mind to it. And that's the message that we preach. And so again, we keep driving home on the literacy thing to tell them if you don't learn the fundamental building blocks of reading and writing and doing math, it's going to be hard for you to get through life. You need that core skill set. So that that's our legacy. That's what we're building. We want people to know not only are we a great coffee brand, but we're trying to help push the next generation forward. That's what we care about.
That's amazing. And we need that. Thank you. Are you open to mentoring a new roaster?
Absolutely. I'll tell you everything I know. Something I wish I knew starting out. Coffee is a very broad subject, but I mean, hey, we would love to talk roasting, talk numbers, and just you know see if we can help in any way, give you some guidance. It'd be our pleasure to.
How long did it take for you to learn how to roast coffee? Was the school beneficial? And I think you may have answered that.
Yeah, the school was very beneficial. When I
Yeah.
came back, but I actually had to. It was a learning curve, right? Like I said, it's,
Hmm.
it's a science. It took me to go into the school and learn how to roast. It took a few months to dial it in because again, coffee is a science. So it's all about the amount of heat coupled with the amount of coffee coupled with air that's in the drum. And it all comes together to make the coffee taste a certain way. And if you have something more or less than the other, that could possibly sway the taste, sway the flavor. So it's all about just dialing it in. My roaster is an older roaster. We use an old Dietrich model. So it's a manual machine. So you have to actually
Oh.
twist the lever to allow the air to come into the drum. It's not computer generated. I wish it was, but it's
Wow.
not. It's not. It's 100% old school, right? So you have to actually know what you're doing to make it work and to make the coffee consistently taste good every time.
How many bags do you produce in a day?
It depends. So you go in roast cycles, right?
Okay.
So my specific roaster is on the smaller side. So every time I roast coffee, I can yield 7 bags of coffee.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so
7 bags. Okay.
yes. So it takes you about 15 minutes to get those 7 bags of coffee. So if you roast 3 times in an hour, then there you go. 7 times 3, you can get 21 bags an hour.
Okay.
But
Perfect.
again, that's with the size roaster that I have. Now, my eyes have been on a much larger roaster. I would love to scale up. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get to the next level where we can scale up to a larger roaster to where we can
Mhm.
produce more coffee faster. We need that ability to do that.
Okay, got it. Charlie asked, have you had the opportunity to make connections with coffee farmers? That's a good question.
Yes, Charlie, I have spoken with a farmer down in Costa Rica. I will tell you though, Charlie, I mean, unless you know somebody or know some people that I don't know or whatever, trying to get coffee from another country because coffee is an import. We all know
Mhm.
coffee's not grown in America. Unless you have those connections that can get you directly from farm through customs into America, and they can kind of make it easy for you. That can be kind of a task trying to do that. So if you have somebody that can navigate that or help you navigate that, that's good. At this stage in our business, we buy coffee directly from, we have a middleman, so we buy from importers. So the importers that we buy from, they have relationships with the coffee farmers around the globe. So, but yes, I would love to go direct to the source if I could. It'd be great. Cut the middleman out.
Any thoughts on expansion or collaboration or something new we should look out for?
Absolutely. We currently we collaborate with we did a collaboration in the past with Old Dominic Distillery, and they
Mhm.
created a coffee vodka for us, right?
Yeah.
So they took our beans and they took their process, they distilled them, and then they made a coffee vodka. It was a limited run. They only made 847 bottles. They sold all that vodka, right? And
Mhm.
so we have been trying to have conversations about how can we recreate that, right? So we have expressed interest in wanting to be open to recreating that. They loved it, the customers loved it. And so customers to this day still ask us if we have those bottles of coffee vodka. We don't sell it anymore. We sold out of it. Yes. So we're trying to rehash that with them. We're always looking for, people that we can do smart collaborations with. Things that benefits, both parties, like our brand benefit their brand. We have a collaboration with 901 Fund. And 901 Fund is the official NIL collective, which NIL is anybody that's familiar with sports, that's name, image, likeness. The University of Memphis. It's a big conversation in the sports world, right? And so they give money to the students, the student athletes for the University of Memphis. So for every bag that we sell, we donate a portion of the proceeds to to 901 Fund, and they give the money to the student athletes through community engagement. So that's another collaboration that we have,
See?
and we're currently working. We're doing that as we speak. And we were able to put those bags, those 901 coffee bags, they're sold in several locations around Memphis. So yeah,
Nice. I like the
yes.
design of that too. I like
Yes.
the design. Who comes up with those designs?
To be in full transparency, one of my friends is he works with us on the design. He's the marketing mind behind
Yeah,
the
he's
des-
doing
the design
good.
piece. But we sit down and we have very long conversations about the design, the way things look, the way it sounds, all the color coordination, pictures,
Wow.
graphics. It's a lot that go into that. It's a lot of psychology. It's psychology and colors. It's
Yes.
it's a lot that goes in that.
And I like
Yeah.
those colors too because it's very appealing.
Yes.
So, just for fun, what's your go-to coffee order?
Every day alternate between the dark and the medium. So I may drink Mississippi, depending on how I'm feeling. I may drink the rock and roll. So a misnomer in coffee, a lot of people may not know this. The longer you roast coffee, the less it
Hmm.
has caffeine in it. So
I
a
know.
dark roast has the least amount of caffeine, and a light roast has the
That's the
most,
most
and the medium is just in the middle. So we don't know that. So we always get a kick out of
That's
kind of telling people
crazy.
we learn that early on in the process.
Well, I know this is a tricky question. What's your favorite artist or song to roast to?
Interesting. You know what? It really depends on the mood I'm in for the day.
Mhm.
Sometimes it could be maybe jazz. I may listen to, BB King, or I may want to hear, if I'm feeling gospel, Ricky Diller
Mhm.
comes on. It really just depends. I like music. I listen to Memphis music. I listen to all kind of music. Uh, so
Oh,
yeah, it really depends. I try to be open minded.
okay. Okay. So, what would be your dream collab for a special coffee blend? Your dream.
Dream collaboration. But you know what? We would love to work with some hotels. So we would love to do like boutique hotels, right? So
Mm.
we have a boutique hotel here called, it's actually a historic hotel called the Peabody. And the Peabody is one of the oldest hotels in America, but it's iconic because they have the little ducks that, and they have an actual duck master there, and they have red carpet. So there's a fountain, like literally a water fountain sitting in the middle of the hotel. And they have the red carpet that leads up to the fountain. And the ducks come out of the back and they walk the red carpet and they get in the fountain, right? So I know it's a whole theatrical thing. And people come from all over the world to see that. That's actually quite iconic here. And so we would love to do a collaboration with Peabody Hotel, which is another Memphis staple.
Oh,
Yeah.
never say never. Never say never.
Never, never. We're all,
Wow.
you know, we're always we 100% on the gas. You know, we're always interested in talking to and collaborating with whoever because, like I say, coffee is it's a social drink and it brings
Hmm.
people together.
It does. It does. It does. One word to describe Memphis Grindhouse coffee.
Resilient, resilient.
I like that. Resilient. I really appreciate it. It's been wonderful speaking with you. It's been a learning experience for me as a coffee enthusiast and hopefully a future coffee shop owner.
You know what? So, Saber, it's funny you mentioned a coffee shop. We've talked to several coffee shop owners, and I'm sure you've ran the numbers. So we understand numbers very, very well. Your biggest expense with a coffee shop is not coffee. Your biggest expense with a coffee shop is milk. So
Really?
yes, yes, you'll spend more in milk per month than you will.
That makes sense.
Yes, yes, yeah. Coffee, your milk could actually be more than your rent, depending on where you are, right? See, so here's the thing, because people are they're so unique in what they like. Every
Hmm.
some people have different dietary restrictions, so they need oat milk, they need almond milk, they need some
That's
people
true.
can't have whole milk, they like low fat milk, they like this. If you want to be accommodate different kinds of milk. So therefore, to have that, you'll be spending hundreds of dollars a day. It again, it depends on volume, right? So the magical formula for a coffee shop, and I'll just tell everybody that's listening, the magical formula for a coffee shop for you to remain even, you need to sell 250 cups of coffee a day, and you need your average ticket price to be $7 per transaction.
250 cups a day.
Yes, you need to average 200. So if you can't, it's twofold. If you just want to break even, you need 250 cups per day to be able to keep the lights on, break even, and try to make just a little profit, right? If you want to try to increase your profits a little bit and you're not selling 250 cups a day because you may not be in the volume, location wise that bring that kind of volume, you may do 100 cups a day. So now your average transaction needs to be between $7 and $10 a day. That's how you make up the having the higher ticket transaction price per transaction will offset not selling 250 cups of coffee per day. See what I'm saying?
Right. So that $7 doesn't necessarily mean that the coffee has to be $7. They just have to make a transaction, whether it's coffee or a
You
muffin or
need a
something equal.
you
Okay.
need a product to go with that coffee. So you want a coffee and
Right.
scone or coffee and a Danish or whatever, right? A piece of cake or just whatever, right? You want to stay away from vendor hoods. So in these build outs, and I tell people all the time, it's just
Well,
in that a vendor hood. So a full kitchen, a full commercial kitchen. You want to stay away from that because having a full commercial kitchen will cost you more money just on average in renting out space. Because technically, if you're selling coffee, you really won't need it. You won't need a full commercial kitchen unless you plan on selling like plated breakfast, where you're cooking, meals and stuff. In a coffee shop, you just need good water. So you're going to have a filtered water system, which you can buy those systems to do that, right? You're going to need a good espresso machine, preferably a two group, maybe a three group, but don't get a super.
okay.
The king of espresso machines is La Marzocco. I'm sure you
I know.
probably know. Um, a cheap one or an inexpensive one will be like 10, 12 grand, easy. They're expensive. They're expensive. I will tell you if you buy now, granted, they are Italian made, but don't necessarily get hung up on that. I know you can find one less expensive because if it breaks, they cost a lot of money to fix. We have a guy here in the city that fixes the all espresso machines in the city. He's one of the only people locally here within maybe probably a 200-mile radius that fixes those machines. If you're in this area and if your La Marzocca machine broke, you're at the mercy of having him get to you when he can get to you. And if you're trying to run
Ah,
a coffee shop, you can't be down 4 days with no espresso machine. You see what I'm saying?
this is good info. Thank you. So my final question is, what's next for Memphis Grindhouse Coffee?
Absolutely. So we want to scale. I mean, so like we sell online, we sell to grocery stores, we sell to independent mom and pop shops, and we sell to Amazon. So we sell on
Oh.
Amazon.com, right?
Now
So
explain scale for those who don't know, understand that term.
scale in layman terms mean to grow the business. So we want to scale on different avenues. So we figured out a sweet spot for us is to work with restaurants. Any business that sells coffee to their consumer, whether it be brunch spots, hotels, restaurants, bakeries, cafes, churches that have coffee shops, any place that sells coffee, working with those people, being their vendor or being their partner to supply them coffee, that works well for us. It keeps us busy. We're providing a quality product, and then we're able to actually work with them on a more personalized level. We provide them a great service, and they also turn a profit at their business, and they sell to their customers. So that's one avenue that we're looking at. We're also looking at growing the brand in other ways. So collaborating with other established brands for recognition. I know that may sound crazy, but it's less work. Like let's just say everybody knows what Louis Vuitton is. If we could do a collaboration, and I'm just talking, but if we could do a collaboration with Louis Vuitton, if they took our coffee and put their LV on the bag, those coffee bags would probably be $50. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
nobody would blink an eye at a $50 because they'd be like, "Ooh, I got the new latest Louis Vuitton
Yep.
coffee," right? Us swimming in the background. We don't have to be in the forefront, just us leaning on other brands that are established, collaborating with them allows us to make money and it allows the other brand that we collaborate with to make money as well. And so those are ways, the partnerships, the collaborations are ways that we scale the business over time.
Awesome. I definitely am looking for Memphis Grindhouse Coffee to be uh, you know, coming out with another collaboration soon. I see great things for you guys. I really do. I really do.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Like I
Yeah.
say, we have a good policy, good creed that we live by. We just try to do our focus is good business.
Hmm.
We work with anybody. It doesn't matter how big or how small people call us. It doesn't matter. We have an event that we're doing with the church here. So there's a lady, I swear I didn't know who she was. Her name is Egypt Sherrod, I think. She's from Home and Garden Network, right? Home and Garden
Yes.
TV, HGTV. There's a church here in Memphis called Brown Baptist Church. So last year they had a program where they do it's like a workshop where they teach people about how to build their credit, how to, save money, how to buy your first home. And so Egypt Sherrod came last year and spoke. And so the church invited us to work with them. So we went last year and we collaborated with the church. We provided coffee. We met Egypt Sherrod. We took pictures. If you
Nice.
if you go back on our Instagram to September last year, you'll see us out there with Egypt, right? So she's not coming this year, but they're bringing somebody else called Micah and Brian from Home and Garden. It's the how to build a home in 100 days, a hundred day
Mm.
dream home or something like. It's one of the shows on Home Garden Network. They called us again and say, "Hey, can you guys come out again? Because you were highly requested from last year." So
That is
it's
awesome.
little things like that. We get a chance to work with people and shake hands. We always enjoy that. We always enjoy working.
Wow. So humble. So humble. Tell the audience how you can be reached.
Absolutely. So anybody can find us. Our Instagram is Memphis Grindhouse Coffee. Our Facebook is Memphis Grindhouse. Our website is www.memphisgrindhouse.com. Email address is info at memphisgrindhouse.com. We are a two-man operation. So it's just Rick and I.
Mm.
If you reach out to any of those channels, you will talk directly with us. There are no middlemen. We don't have an assistant, although we would love to have an assistant. But we don't have an assistant. So it's literally just two of us. Literally today, I got up this morning, made some coffee, and delivered to a couple grocery stores before this call today at 5 o'clock. It's us, the ones that are going, making the coffee, counting the inventory, delivering the product to the stores. You know, it's a work. It's a lot of work, like I say, to go into that, because once you put your product in the store, then it's like, then what, right? It just doesn't magically fly off the shelf. Then you got to go there and do samplings, tastings. You got to give the product away. You got to shake hands, kiss babies. Got to let people know who you are.
Kiss babies. Well, you got to do what you got to do. You know, it's a business. So I am so excited for you all.
We need an assistant. I mean, I'm saying it jokingly, but no. I mean, we're really trying to grow, right? We're trying to reach that phase to where, and we're still on the growth phase. We're trying to grow, so it would be great if we had someone that could work with us, because we're a small company. You may wear a couple different hats, but just to be able to grow, help us with social media, things like that, right? It's all about branding, telling the story, and just doing as much community engagement as we can. One last thing I forgot while I'm thinking about it. To everybody who wants to do a coffee business, figure out your market, who you're going to sell coffee to. Understand that even though your coffee may be good, what is your differentiator, right? Between all the other 1,000 brands. Understand that you can't compete with the national brands, chains, Dunkin', Folgers, Maxwell House. You can't beat them on price. So how you beat them is your competitive advantage. What makes your coffee special? What is it about you that they like, people like? Tell them a story, and also go and be a member of your your Chamber of Commerce, wherever you are. Go get involved, pay the fee. I know you may not want to pay the fee. So we are a member of the Memphis Chamber of Commerce. The annual fee is $500 a year. But let me tell you, that fee has paid for itself in multiples, in more ways than one. So because you pay that fee, you're buying access to. That's really all you're networking. So we were just in Nashville back in, well, was that last week? I think it was May 8th. So Christy Loeffler is the new administrator of the Small Business Administration, run the Small Business Administration. Memphis Grindhouse Coffee was invited to Nashville to premiere our coffee at the state. So Nashville is our state capital. And we were invited as a business to represent West Tennessee. We were the only coffee business there. And we got a chance to network and meet with other people from other parts of the state. And again, we only got that opportunity because we are members of the Chamber of Commerce. We would not have gotten that opportunity if we had not been a member. So that's why I tell people, get engaged with your local community.
Yeah.
Find out who the movers and shakers are in your area.
Awesome. Lots of gems dropped. I appreciate that. This has been so good. This is nothing but nuggets of information. There are lots of people, lots of coffee enthusiasts, lots of potential coffee house business owners who would definitely appreciate this interview. Dwayne, thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining, everyone. If today's episode inspired you to take that next step in your own coffee journey, or any dream you've been sitting on, leave a review or share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. To contact us, check us out on Instagram at CLT Coffeehouse Collective, or email us at cltcoffeehouseco@gmail.com. Until next time, keep sipping, keep building, and never stop brewing bold. I'm Sabra, and thanks for joining.